So today is the first day of our stitch along for this witch hat design. So today we're going to be transferring our designs onto the fabric and hooping up the fabric. So if you got the kit, you have this pre-printed fabric, so you don't have to do this first part, you'll just do the last. And if you just have the digital pattern, I recommend having 2 squares of your fabric for your 6-inch hoop and printing out your template and cutting that out. So I'm just using the first piece of fabric first, and I'm just gonna put that in my hoop. So tighten that. You don't have to tighten it all the way yet. At the end we'll use our screwdriver. For now, just hand tighten it and pull your fabric taut. Okay, you want to make sure you don't, if it still pokes in like that, then you're going to want to still continue to pull in all directions and tighten that so your fabric is nice and tight in there. Now that's nice and tight, you're just going to want to see, and you'll see it's taut like a drum. Next, I'm going to get my template, and I like to tape it onto my hoop to hold it in place when I'm tracing. So you can just get some tape. I just use 2 pieces. If you need to add more, you can. So here I have a light pad, and it's just, this helps with tracing as a light source. If you don't have a light pad, you can go up to a well-lit window and you're going to do the same thing. And so this is actually, I got this one on Amazon. So I have this light pad and this Pilot Frixion pens. They're both linked in my Amazon favorites, so you can check those out if you want to get that same type of light pad. And so right now I'm using a Frixion clicker erasable pen, and I really like using these on light colored fabrics because they're easy to remove with an iron or a blow dryer. So now I'm just going to trace the design, and you just take your time. You can go using short motions to get those lines along the fabric, and you're just going to go around and trace every part of the design. So now that I'm done tracing the design, I'm going to just remove that template. And now I'm going to flip the fabric around in the hoop. So I'm just going to take that out. And this is where I like to add in that second piece of fabric. And so I like to add in the second piece of fabric. It helps keep the fabric taut in the hoop. And when you're stitching the stitches on the back side, the fabric's thicker, so you won't be seeing those stitches from the back. Okay, so now I'm just gonna tighten it as much as I can by hand and start to pull out the fabric, keeping it taut in the hoop. Okay, and now this is where I like to use these with the screwdriver, and you can just tighten it, and then you can pull your fabric a little more. And I don't try to tighten it too much all at once, otherwise the fabric might bunch up in there. So you just keep working it around and pulling it until you like your fabric, like you like the tautness of the fabric. So that's what you would do if you are transferring the design by hand. If you have the kit with the pre-printed fabric, you are going to be getting that second piece of blank fabric and layering those 2 on top of each other. You have that design on top, and you're going to do the same thing. You're going to be just making sure your design is centered in the hoop, and then we're going to make sure the fabric is nice and taut. Okay, so hand tighten it as much as you can and go and pull that fabric out. If you have any creases in the fabric, just keep on pulling on that and it will come out. Okay, so just go around and you're going to do the same thing. And then once you feel like that's as tight as it can get, go and tighten your hoop with a screwdriver And then just go around one more time, making sure that everything is nice and tight in there. It really makes your stitching so much easier if your fabric is nice and tight in the hoop. So there we have our hoops prepped, and if you want to join our stitch along, this is how your hoop will look in the end. And I still have kits in my Etsy shop, as well as the digital template if you prefer to do it that way.